Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Which Manning brother will win the FanDuel Kick of Destiny 3 on Super Bowl Sunday? Peyton or Eli? Watch the showdown live on Super Bowl Sunday. Plus, new customers bet $5 and get $200 if your bet wins. Only on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus vest that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Akil Stokes, Forex trader and trading coach over at Tier1Trading.com. Today, we're going to talk about analysis paralysis. But before we do, I want you to do two things. One, if you haven't done so already, make sure you leave this podcast a rating and a review. You can do so while you're listening to it, so it doesn't take out any extra of your time. And two, if you're brand new to the show, thank you for joining. Make sure you take the 10 episode challenge, meaning go back and listen to the last 10 episodes of the Trading Coach podcast, or find 10 random episodes of subjects that you're interested in and give it a listen before judging if this podcast should be part of your regular routine. Now, what is analysis paralysis? Well, it's two things, or at least we're going to talk about it in two different ways in today's podcast. Essentially, analysis paralysis is being overwhelmed, getting so much information that you don't know what to do. We deal with it in our regular life when, parents out there, if you have children and they have a million different activities that they need to do, and you kind of get flustered about what's on what day and where I need to drop one off and do this and do that and do that, and you just kind of freeze and do nothing. We also go through it in trading. Now, typically in trading, at least from the technical perspective, we see analysis paralysis in the sense of I've got too much on my screen. Maybe it's too many indicators, or I have too many technical tools that I'm supposed to use, or maybe I don't have a set routine of what to follow and I'm trading too many strategies and I just see so much on the chart that I confuse myself. I have a signal that says bullish, but I have a signal that says bearish, but then that bearish one flips to bullish here, then that bullish one flips to bearish there, and you kind of just freeze up and do nothing. We also see this in kind of the preparation. So even before you start actively trading, as far as the acquisition of education, the acquisition of information, meaning that in the very beginning stages of our trading career, we are on this path to acquire information, right? There are 4 stages of trading. You've heard me say this time and time again. You can go back and listen to a podcast on the 4 stages of trading if you want to make that one of the 10 that you go back and visit. But the first stage is unconscious incompetence. That's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a baby. Everything is brand new. I don't know what's what. It's my first kind of introduction to the trading world. I'm taking everything in, and some stuff is good, some stuff is bad, and I kind of got to figure that out the hard way. A good kind of normal life reference is touching the hot stove, where you're a kid and like, ooh, that's red. Red's a cool color. Let me touch it. I burnt my hand. And now you've learned, hopefully, not to do that again. The second stage of trading is the conscious incompetence, and that is when you are aware that something needs to change. You are aware that you don't know everything, or don't know the right things, I should say. So in that first stage of unconscious incompetence, we are typically gathering information from everywhere. We are gathering it from podcasts like this. We are gathering it from other podcasts. If you are a trader to the show, not a trader, a traitor, like a TRAITOR, because you listen to other podcasts and not just mine, right? You traitor, you. But you get it from YouTube videos, you get it from books, you get it from websites, and you acquire all this information without any organization to it. And because of that, you get overwhelmed and you get conflicting signals and you don't know what to do. So those are the 2 different stages of analysis paralysis. In today's episode, yes, this is just the intro, we're going to discuss that with a trader who is currently going through that struggle. Hey, Akil, hope you're doing well. I think I got into analysis paralysis stage. Too many courses and information. Information overload, right? This is why we warn you guys to take your time, right? Take your time. Don't blow through the courses in one day. I had a trader that watched our entire went through all the lessons in a single weekend. How do you think they fared? Yeah, they started the course on I think they signed up on a Friday, and I got an email on a Monday saying, Akil, I finished it. I said, oh, cool. You finished the basics course. He's like, no, Akil, I finished everything. And I asked them a single question, and they couldn't answer it. No, they didn't retain anything. There was nothing retained. They're like, I have some questions for you. It was in all different places. I'm like, how about you slow down and take it again? Their whole thing was like, I think they signed up for a monthly, and they only planned on staying. They tried to be cute, right? They tried to be cute. So they signed up for a monthly, and their whole goal, right? Their whole goal was to, I'm gonna blow through everything as fast as possible. That way I can cancel my subscription after the end of the month, right? Which I get. That is a really cute, old school Akil way of actually, no, I don't even think I wasn't in the shortcuts. I'm gonna take that back. I'm as frugal and as cheap as they come, but I was never in the shortcuts when it comes to education. But that was the plan. It was like, I'll blow through everything. And it didn't work. They didn't retain any information because they just flooded themselves, right? They were thirsty for a trading drink, and they decided, instead of going to the faucet and filling up a cup, I'm going to open this fire hydrant and let water spray in my face and see if I can get any water, right? That is the information overload. This is one of the reasons, I have nothing against baby pips. I'm going to assume Jason has nothing against baby pips. We've both gone through baby pips. And again, I haven't looked at their site in like a decade, but when I was new, it was a great source. I knew nothing about trading. I wasn't educated or anything like that. So like baby pips had like everything on trading. And I remember just plowing through baby pips. And the problem was that it was a good reference guide. It had everything, but it didn't really teach you how to use things in the practical sense of trading. It's very similar to the book. You guys have heard us mention the book, The Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns by Thomas Bulkowski. There's like 3 editions. I think the 3rd edition has some harmonic stuff in there. Yeah. It's a great reference guide. So it's a reference guide where it's like, hey, that's a cup and handle. What is a cup and handle again? And I go to the book and I lick the fingers and I go through it. Ah, yeah, this is a cup and handle, blah, 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 blah. But if you were to read that book front to back, you wouldn't learn nothing. Your brain would explode. It would be full of numbers and stats and all types of weird stuff, and you would take no information out of it. So Baby Pips was the same way. It was so much information but it was just information. It wasn't like practically applied information. It was like I was learning stuff. So I had a whole bunch of knowledge of stuff, but didn't actually do stuff. It's kind of like the person that like you read up on all this information, like how to repair a car, but you've never actually like gone to the garage and like repaired a car. Would you trust that person with your car? Like, no, look, I took thousands of hours of courses. Have you actually ever like worked on a car? No, but it's the same, right? No, like it's not the same, right? Live experience is different than what you learn in books or in school, right? This is why we say the best experience one can have in the market is by actually being in the market. I think we do the greatest job possible in our coursework of showing you good opportunities, like clean opportunities so you get it, but also ugly opportunities so you see what it looks like. But there's so many books and videos out there where they just show you, guys, look at this beautiful double bottom. You're like, oh man, these things are easy. And then you go into real charts and you're like, I can't find one to save my life. These things are ugly in real life, right? It's like the difference, like when you see, fortunately, I've seen, I mean, fortunately, I don't know, luxury, I don't know. I've seen a lot of celebrities, important people in my life, right? And I see these same people like on TV when they have all the makeup on and stuff and they're dolled up and I'm like, man. And then you see them in real life and they're a completely different person. Right? That's how the markets are. You're like, who? What? Huh? Why are you so short? What happened to your face? Oh, that's not your real face? Oh. Ooh. Give that makeup artist a tip. They're doing you wonders. Right? But it's the same thing. And then what happens is the traders, they because they don't practically apply anything, they don't teach, they don't practice, they can easily spot the RAS reticular activating system is easily able to identify the perfect looking opportunities, but it can't see the real opportunities, right? It's like a very privileged person who has been coddled their whole life, being thrown into the real world and being like, this is how things actually work. I had a person the other day that was like, Akil, I had a job interview and I didn't get the job. And they're like freaking out. I don't understand why. I'm like, look, because that's what happens. You don't get you get rejected. I'm sorry. But I've never been rejected for a job. And I slapped her. I'm like, psh, welcome to real life. I didn't slap her. But in my mind, I wanted to. I'm like, this is real life. Deal with it. Like, be sad and then fill out another application. You'll be okay. All right, you got this. So yeah, it's very easy to get overwhelmed with information, and that's one of the reasons that, when we put together our courses, like, the courses are great. I love the courses, but I think, and Jason thinks, I'm sure a lot of you guys think too, the best part are the Q&As and the live rooms, because now you can take your perfect examples, the stuff that you've been studying where it looks all pretty, and we can throw you into the matrix, right? The reality, and work on your reticular activating system of seeing them in real life. And that's where the biggest difference comes from, because now you're training your eyes to see the real pattern and not just the artificial celebrity pattern. But yeah, you got to take your time through stuff. I always say, work through slow. You guys know my philosophy. Work through the whole course slow, just for reference perspective, and then work through the whole course slow again the second time once you've decided what parts you want to, or what style you want to focus on, and then relate everything to that specific style. Hands down, that is the best way to learn. If you just tried to learn everything, you're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to get analysis paralysis. But there's also no need to learn everything. Like, there's no need, right? If you are going to be like a counter trend trader, you don't need to learn trend continuation. You don't need to learn patterns, right? You don't need to learn the daily chore, the FTB, right? I'm not saying that stuff isn't useful, right? I think knowledge of everything is helpful in general, but not at the expense of clouding your brain from focusing on what it really needs to focus on, right? So I think I got analysis paralysis. This isn't the trader that rushed through, by the way. This is a different trader. But he says, I think I got analysis paralysis, which is when you see so much that you freeze up and you actually see nothing. Too many courses and information, smiley face. And I think I'm stuck between tons of them. So the trader is overwhelmed. They have all this knowledge, but they don't know what to do with it, pretty much. As you know, lots of distractions come in mind to test everything I learned on the chart. Both trading live rooms are good to show market conditions and reduce doubt. However, I know practice makes perfect, but I'm asking about efficient practice. Where do I have to start to reach the competency level, or at least to some extent, in my analysis of the chart? And like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to let you guys chime in with your opinions first, because I do think the opinions of this trader's peers, not that I'm not a peer, but I'm also seen as a coach and mentor. But I think the advice of the peers is often just as, if not more, relevant or impactful than the coach. So what is your opinion for this trader? This trader is paralyzed by too much information. They're looking at everything. They want to test everything. They're seeing everything, and now they're stuck. What is the very most simplest advice that you can give? Scott says, I went through once the courses, just to see what it's all about. Then I went through a second time taking notes. Now on my third time through, but mainly focusing on the courses / types of trading that suit my personality. I think that's brilliant. Again, the buffet reference I always use. Take a lap around the buffet before you fill your plate. If not, you're going to have 15 plates of food and you're going to feel guilty about not eating it, right? Take a lap, see what's there. Take a second lap, narrow it down. Take a third lap, grab the knife and fork, right? Sean says, simplify view by less indicators, which says concentrate on one thing at a time. Ann says, decide what type of trader you want to be, what's easy for a trader to identify. Carlos says, start by drawing structures, support and resistance, and then pick only 3 indicators. Only 3. I would say 3 is a lot. Man, only 3. Oof. I would say this. So what you guys said. This trader, what you need to do is the most important question you can answer is, what style / type of trading do I want to concentrate on? You can do nothing until you answer that question. You need to pick one. It doesn't matter what you pick. You could pick a specific style. You could pick a specific strategy. It does not matter. I do not care. That is your personal preference. Now, I think it was Ann that said, how do you pick that style? Well, there's two things. One, if you've taken the course a million times like Scott, stuff starts to stand out to you. Scott starts to figure out like, hey, I kind of like this trend is your friend type thing, this counter trend thing of like, I'm going against the grain. I don't really feel comfortable with that. So Scott, by reviewing it, is starting to kind of figure out like what style matches his personality. I feel like I'm more of a trendy person. I like the bigger moves, the big targets. I'm not speaking for Scott, obviously, just giving an example. So he's starting to figure out like, okay, well, this counter trend stuff, probably not for me. Like this pattern stuff, probably not for me. Like more of a trend continuation guy. So now Scott's going through the course specifically looking for information that is relevant and strategies that are relevant to trend continuation styles of trading. So he's just eliminated a bunch of stuff. At the same time, he's also paying attention to what came easy, right? Scott went in like, yeah, I like this pattern stuff, but Akil, I can't see these things that save my life. It's so hard. But a pullback? Oh, baby, I can spot a pullback, right? So Scott's like, okay, well, it's easy for me to spot a pullback. I find myself liking trend continuation trades. This is the right fit. So now he's decided what type of trader he wants to be. And it could change, right? Scott can spend millions of hours doing back testing and then be like, you know what? I changed my mind. It happens a lot. It happened to me in my career, right? It happens to everyone, right? You can change. You're not locked in forever. It's not like we've been watching Beast Games. It's not like you choose we just watched an episode where they had to choose a door and then like they're locked into that door and they have to play games where they might be eliminated, right? It's not like you're in there and you're like, hey, can I leave now? No, right? No, you can leave. You can change. You have a free pass. But yeah, you figure out what you like. You figure out what comes easy to you and then you focus strictly on that, and you push the other stuff to the side, right? If there's other things you want to work on, guess what? You have plenty of time to do it at a later point. So I think that's the best way to do it. You have to pick something, one, and those are some tips for figuring out kind of what to pick. And then once you pick it, now you dive into everything that supports that. So everything that you learn, it's now in reference to how can I use this? How is this helpful in the specific trading style / strategy that I chose? Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Remember, 10 episode podcast before you go, so find 10 that look intriguing. And if there's ever a subject that I haven't covered that you want to hear about, just shoot me a message. You can find me on all the socials. Let me know what you want to talk about. You guys know I respond, and many of these podcasts are from topics that you shot me, and I will make it a show if the topic is deemed worthy enough to do so and if I have time in my schedule. All right? Until next time, plan your trade your plan, like, subscribe, rate, review before you go, and I'll see you guys next episode.